Theresa May's team has been hit by the departure of a second key aide in a matter of days after her official spokeswoman announced she would leave on Friday. Lizzie Loudon said she was leaving government to move on to other things as Miss May's election campaign had barely started. It follows the departure of Katy Perry, who along with Miss Loudon, was brought in the wake of Miss May's leadership campaign win last year. The pair's exit leaves Miss May's election campaign firmly in the hands of Fiona Hill and Nick Timothy, the two trusted aides that Miss May has relied on going back to her days in the Home Office. But it also comes amid claims that Miss May relied on too tight a circle of advisors, refusing to allow others into her circle of trust. Miss Loudon joined the May camp after working on the Leave campaign, and before that had worked as an advisor for Ian Duncan Smith, and a government press officer at the Department for Work and Pensions. Announcing her departure, Miss Loudon said, "I always thought and intended that my departure from government last year to work on the Leave campaign would be final, and I would move on to other things. None of us expected a leadership campaign, but I was honored to work on Theresa's campaign and to come into government." Miss Perry resigned earlier this week, saying she had never intended to stay on past an election. She had taken an extended leave of absence from her role as company director of PR agency In-House Communications to work on Theresa May's leadership campaign before she took up the Downing Street job. Miss Hill and Mr. Timothy have worked for Miss May for years, notably as part of her inner circle at the Home Office implementing her policy ideas and communications. Scottish-born Miss Hill, a former Sky News editor, is known as a sharp operator with wide-reaching control over the No 10 operation. She was sacked as a special advisor in 2014 for releasing a confidential letter during the dispute with Michael Gove over alleged extremism in schools, but was reappointed by Miss May as soon as she became Prime Minister. Mr. Timothy helped Miss May's Tory leadership campaign, and is said to have been instrumental in her key policy ideas, including the push for grammar schools. He is from a working-class background and attended a grammar school. As former director of the New Schools Network, he also drove the free school agenda. Independent news service.